Okay, hello traders. So I want to chat a little bit about risk. So this is probably more geared at people that's starting out, or people that are battling to get to grips with a decent risk profile. So before we look at the charts and define entry and exits and where your logical stop losses would be, I want to show you a spreadsheet that I utilize, and I'll gladly share this with you. All you got to do is just subscribe to the channel and just ask me for it in the comments of the video, and I'll make a plan to get a copy through to you. So essentially, if you look at this, my starting capital was 5,000 Rand, and my first trade was a 150 pip risk, which meant that I could only place a trade of 1 Rand. Okay, we generated a reward of 252 pips, and we banked it. So capital then grew to 5,252. And I think this is a little bit bigger. Okay. So same thing, second trade, we had a lower risk of 75 pips, which meant I could increase my trade size. Okay. The reward was 300 pips, and so we continued. However, the third trade, we had a risk of 75 pips, but our stop loss was hit. So we lost 176 Rand. Okay. But we're still positive. And this is the beauty about running your trades through a spreadsheet like this, that you can physically see what's going on. If you've got too many red numbers, you're obviously doing something wrong. Rather work on rectifying the problem before you continue beating a drum that's not actually working. Okay, so let's go through an example here. So I'm going to use a real live example here. So we trended up into a channel. So what I've said is I want to go for the breakout here. Okay, so that breakout, which means I need to have a 170 pip stop loss. But my reward would be the height of this range. Okay, so let's just do this. So this is the range. So the breakout of the range would mean I'd be able to take profit up there. Okay, so just get back to the spreadsheet. So for my risk on this next trade is 170 pips that I'm risking. Okay, which means I can basically only trade with 1 Rand. And what you'll also notice here is because I've lost money here, my capital has come down. So therefore my 3% risk of capital has come down as well. So previously I was able to risk 176 Rand. Now I can only risk 171 Rand. Okay. And the key to proper risk management is to trade according to your risk profile. So if your risk profile says you can only place a 1 Rand trade, that is the trade you take. Do not deviate from it. Okay. So if we come back here, we saw we had a breakout and our target would have been hit. Okay. So let's just go from there. 144 pips, sorry, not 170. So 140 pips is what we were looking for. So let's just go here, 144. And it was a one-to-one trade, and we basically made 171 Rand on that trade. Now we are at 5,800. Now if I come back to the same trade, we've had a breakout here. Okay, so we can do the same thing to say, okay, so the breakout is correct. So my stop loss should be below the range, which is 119 pips. And now there is a target further up. I'm on the 5-minute chart, okay, so you can see where we closed here. So where we closed, there's a gap. So there's that as a target, and there's that. And I have a feeling we have already, no, we're pretty close, okay? So In this scenario, it's long, right? So I'm long at this point here. I have a stop loss of, call it 140 points, and I have a take profit of 173 points. Why am I saying take profit there? Well, that is the previous breakout test. It may get there, but may not happen today. This is the most logical area to take profit. Okay, so it's 173 and 144. So we've got so we have another trade here of 140 pips, 140 pips, and the reward on this trade is 170. Okay, and so we go on. If the next trade was a risk of 140 pips and we lost 140 pips, sorry, minus 140 pips, that's fine. It's not a problem. We are still profitable. Okay? The important factor here is that your next trade, you will be using less risk and less capital at risk than what you had previously. So this is probably the most critical part of putting a successful trading strategy together. It doesn't matter, what silver bullets you're looking for, whether you're trading breakouts, whether you're trading the 5-minute chart, whether you're trading the hour or the daily, weekly, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want to be profitable. And if you start placing trades where you're not running stop losses and you're not sticking to a stop loss of a 3 or 2% risk of your capital, if you were risking 10%, it's basically, 5 trades, and then your capital is wiped out. At least going like this, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades, 2 of them haven't worked out, 4 of them were positive, and the end result is we're still up on from the 8th trade, we're still up substantially. Okay. Another scenario here is, let's say we entered a trade, 100-point risk, but you could see that it's actually not starting to work out for you, and you rather just cut your losses. Let's say you cut your losses with 12 pips profit, which is fine. 21 Rand profit, better than nothing, it's better than a loss. Okay. More importantly, my risk now goes up slightly, not that much, but it still allows me to place a couple of cents extra on the trade, provided that your broker allows you to do that. Okay, so obviously when you start working on higher time frames, like I try focus on, so for example, this scenario here, where we broke out of the range, then the risk here is massive. I mean, that's 2,000 points. So obviously, you're not going to be wanting to do a 2,000 point stop loss. So you'll drill down to the lower time frame, and you'll find an entry at a lower time frame which suits you. And once you are moving, you'll move your stop up to protect that. And you'll continue moving your stop up. And that's why I say right in the beginning, when I talk about my strategy, is I focus on one time zone. A lot of the charts, and those charts in that one time frame. Don't try and manipulate. I mean, if we come back to this side here, you can see this is all bullish. Oh, this is really going to go far. You come to the 5 minutes, okay, and we could still have little squirts up, but probably to this area before we pull down. So if you were to go long up here, your stop loss, wherever it is, it's probably going to get triggered if it fails. Okay, so stick to one time zone. What you find is there's a lot of noise in the 5 minutes. So try and stick to sort of something like the 1 hour, even the 15 minutes if you want to cycle through to pick up trades as they go along. And don't look beyond the next level. So whatever levels, you can go watch my video on levels and you'll see what I mean. There are key levels and aim for those levels. Once you get to those levels, take your profit and watch what's happening with price. If it does break through the level on the rare occasion, and that's a very rare occasion because 80% of all breakouts fail. So watch it very carefully. Always take profit. You always, for example, when price gets to that level, you should have a short sitting here, waiting, and you can have a standard 100-point stop loss, or you could have it up at a 700-point stop loss. Depends what your risk profile is, how much capital is in your account. But normally on the Aussie, 150-point stop loss is pretty fine for a major level like this. And in fact, you'd probably look at this book's gap here. Okay, so yeah, so just recap, try and use a journal, and it's a simple journal just to keep track of your profits and losses. But the important part to this is that it actually allows you to work out your risk and do not exceed that risk, not even by 1 rand. Get into the habit early on that that's your maximum risk. Okay, you can add to a trade. So, for example, if this trade is running and it's successful, you can move your stop up to protect that capital so that risk comes down. And all you're going to do is just quickly say, right, my risk is now 30 points. Okay, and then change it according to that. Okay, so that's kind of something that I've learned the hard way. So take it, use it, abuse it, and I really hope it helps you. Anyway, I'll start getting some more videos on the basics out as and when I get time. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and catch you later.